Morning, Saturday morning. Mia's walking. You see her back legs kind of limping again at times. Skips a little beat. It's not particularly hurting her, but just nuisance from where that guy hit her. So anyway, Saturday morning. Not a work day for me today, although I'm doing a quote on the way back. Just a couple of bits. So today I thought I'd talk about, because I do a lot of kind of videos for the self-employed and stuff, and just people starting out and people just looking to rejig and just things for people to think about. And obviously I'll do one on social media again. I think she's going for a wee. So I thought I'd do one on social media in the future. But come here. I'm becoming like Bry again. Baldy, stop the licking. Oh look, we're coming up to a little den again. We'll have a look. But yeah, so there she is. Bodie's missus. So yeah, social media. Logged on this morning to find a load of stuff, not directed at me. I was just looking at a Facebook feed. I'm on a few community groups and just looking at the sheer amount of paranoia out there online. Just, it's crazy. And of course a lot of my experiences and memories, look at that, look. A lot of my experiences and memories are kind of based on before social media came, but so obviously it's new to me, as it is to anyone else really, and we're all learning as we go along, trying to create something. But just it seems that obviously, say before all this started with social media and stuff, I mean not everyone had a computer at home, certainly kind of as I was starting work, people didn't, I mean mobile phones weren't even in mainstream use. They were around but not mainstream, so communication wasn't as sort of quick, I suppose, back then, and it was a bit better. I mean, you wouldn't, for instance, you wouldn't have gone up to somebody in the pub, a complete stranger, and sort of said some of the things you say, but I see people say to each other on social media community groups, and it causes a lot of just causes a lot of anger, stress, outrage, etc, etc. People have got false media accounts. I just think if you wouldn't say it to someone in person, don't say it online. And certainly I can remember back in the day going into pubs and just it getting very odd and just saying okay and just leaving, because what's the point? What's the point in standing there and arguing with a couple of muppets? And obviously that pub would then go very quiet because no one wanted to go in there and have it, and eventually only the muppets are in there. And that's eventually what's going to happen with social media, of course. People just won't want it. They'll go off to their own little groups where it's kind of safer, their own little corners of the internet, like they did with pubs. They'll just go off to another pub, and then that group will die or just be a very toxic place, like some pubs. You know, I remember working away. You know, you stay somewhere, come here, yeah. I remember working away, and sort of you'd stay in a B&B and you'd say to the landlord, we're going to have a meal and a drink and a game of pool or darts, where's the best pub? And they'd say, oh, this place is weird or that place is weird. And that's exactly what will happen to community groups and communities in general. Lots goes on, but yeah, in this day and age it's just, yeah. So I woke up to a lot of paranoia, seeing stuff about someone, I don't know, they'd gone to the wrong address and knocked on the door and it was on a ring doorbell, and it all just sort of kicked off unnecessarily really. And I thought, yeah, didn't comment myself, but yeah, there's me this morning, local little woods. So I'm actually near the RSPCA, if anyone knows where that is. But there's actually not that many people around. So again, big population locally. Certainly this is within 20 minutes walk of some major population centres. 5 minutes drive, there's a car park. You could bring your dog, but people don't. That's the other thing. I was just not having a ramble, but enjoying the morning. People don't go out now much, do they? I went out for a meal last weekend and noticed that in the restaurant we are. Quite a nice restaurant. It's Prezzo's place, I believe. Decent meal. Fairly decent price, actually. Not as cheap as Bosnia, but there you go. And kind of, I notice the amount of delivery drivers, and people are just literally, they stay in. They don't go to pubs. They don't socialise. They don't mix. We don't get kind of people just sitting in a pub, playing pool, darts, relaxing, listening to music, maybe a light live band, you know, nothing heavy rock, but just something in the, you know, I remember some great nights like that, and just as obviously the night wore on and you got a bit drunk, you'd have a bit of a song and a dance, but it was some great evenings, and you don't see that much now. It's all in your face, high adrenaline, high octane kind of burr, 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 burr. And just after the meal I went to the cinema, watched a pleasant film, just like the old days. And again with films, like for me a film's like hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, and I've watched some great films. There she's having a wee, you caught her, look. You know, and so like I watched Gremlins over Christmas at the cinema, because I'd never seen that at the cinema. So that's kind of quite nice, but people don't do that anymore. They literally just, they want all this high octane. So we walked through a local shopping centre where the cinema was afterwards, and we thought we'll have a drink. And I kind of was going to suggest a little quiet pub on the way home, just on the outskirts of town. But I said, no, let's go for a drink in town, there'll be somewhere. And all we found was, quite a few pubs have gone, obviously, but just a lot of noise. But I'm not talking kind of bands like back in the day. This is just craziness and just people high on drugs. I don't get it. People openly smoking weed, or what you call cannabis, in the town. No police. And you just think, not particularly pleasant, is it? So I get why people don't want to go into town at night. And like I say, by the time we'd walked around town, walked around a couple of pubs, decided they were unsuitable, it was time to get back for the babysitter. But as I said, next time we'll go for a nice meal, cinema, and then go to a quieter pub on the outskirts, which will be just nice. Maybe a game of pool or darts. But yeah, so people kind of, they do all this high octane stuff, they're not relaxing, and when they do, they're not going out and socialising. They do their socialising on social media, which we all did during 2020, didn't we? Because you couldn't get out with a jogger there. She might try and jog with him. Yep, there you go. She thought better of it, her leg was playing up. So people did all their socialising online, which was fine. It was a national emergency or whatever, but they seem to have stuck in that rut. They get food in, they have a couple of friends around. That's it, really. They're not going out and having that great night out in a pub. And of course, the young people, they're not going to places where there's the older generation as well. So they're just kind of causing chaos, and there's no one older just so turn it in a bit, or he's had a bit too much to drink. And I remember I was propping up a bar at the age of 16 actually. Started work when I was about 15. I remember sitting in a pub, and kind of during the week you were only allowed soft drinks. I think Friday you knocked off at 12, so you used to go to a place called the Westerfield Railway. A couple of pints, go home, bath, shower, rest up, have some, might have done my shot, you know, whatever, bit of pieces in town, and then kind of pub for the evening. But do you know what? I would then kind of, you'd have older people, you know, you could drink alcohol, they'd let you have alcohol, but there'd be older people saying, no, that's enough now, mate, you know, no more. And kind of, we don't get that now, do we? So anyway, lovely morning here, bit of a ramble for me on social media and how things are now, and paranoia. And just remember, they're not out to get us. I see all this paranoia about that billionaire guy who owns Tesla, specified TV program. Do you know, when I looked at it, and I'll just call it as when I was a kid, or certainly when I was in my teens and in the 90s, and we would, he just looks like the guy who was bullied at school, and the awkward kid who made a few quid. Now he's just like a kid, just causing chaos. But there you go. Sometimes it's not worth getting paranoid, because there's nothing we can do about it anyway, and just enjoy your life. But yeah, back to the high octane stuff. I remember when my son was smaller, kind of, I remember Thomas the Tank Engine and Postman Pat and all these things being sort of quite gentle little things. Guy going around with his cat delivering letters. Mrs. Miggins would drop her cakes. All of that. Now it's a guy with a base. He's got a helicopter. 4x4 vehicles. Just goodness knows what. And you just think, why are we turning everything into this high octane stuff? Keep it slow and gentle and pleasant. It's after a hard day at work. And right now, I'm thinking about moving. Because there's no actual decent pub around me that's just quiet. And I would actually, got my eye on another house which I'm thinking about moving to. Because it's close to a pub that is a nice quiet place. Busy, lots of people go in and out. But you can go in, have a couple of drinks, have a couple of pints. Play some pool, darts, have a meal if you want. Not this ridiculous kind of on a bed of lettuce or whatever, and just enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what you want. There's a pub near me, Broomswell Cherry Tree. It used to be lovely. It's now the best pub restaurant in the country, and goodness knows what. And you think, really? Just want to go somewhere nice and quiet and just unwind. And sometimes at night, I think that will do us some good. Just after a long day at work, just a pint, quick chat, game of darts maybe, then go home. Keep off the social media and off the soap operas. Mind you, a lot of you will say, oh, £6, £7 a pint. Well, some of these local places are £3.5, £4. Kind of alright, do you know what I mean? Depends what your priorities are, obviously. But yeah, I think sometimes if you just re-gig things and think, and for me, I just like going home. Like last night, I had a nice night. Actually went home, spent an hour with my son. Didn't actually do anything else. I thought, oh, I've got this to do, I've got paperwork to do. And I thought, do you know what, mate? That's going to take you an hour tonight because you're tired and whatever. Did it in about 15 minutes this morning. So just rejig your priorities and just kind of think about what really is important in life. And it certainly isn't Facebook, social media, or a billionaire in America going on about whatever it is he's going on about. We're not here long, are we? Anyway, rambling with Bryce style video, I suppose. Bodie's missus. Her leg is getting bad. If you look, that's quite bowed. But she's alright. She went to the vets and she's alright, they said. But yeah, it's just where she was kicked and it did the permanent damage. Happy now though, aren't you? See, she does a little run. Try and keep her thin. Not easy, because I eat a lot as well. But yeah, there you go anyway. Have a good day, guys.